Patchwork is a form of needlework that goes back hundreds of years. In it, leftover pieces of rags and fabric are sewn together to create clothing and quilts. Today, turned into a hobby, you can find completely specialized shops with tons and tons of fabric, string, and yarn amongst to choose from. It is there that workshops take place, thanks to which this beautiful art is maintained throughout time. Patchwork is indeed a task that requires patience and hard work, since an art piece can take several hundred hours. So imagine you just had your firstborn grandson and want to embroider a beautiful quilt for your precious munchkin. Unfortunately, your son's mother-in-law wants to beat you to it. You both have 53 hours to spend in the best way possible, working day after day. You'll buy new patches and sew them onto your quilt board. They come in different prices, sizes, and shapes. And because of this, sewing them can take from a short while to a whole day. Get your glasses, thimble up, and thread that needle. This just got serious.
Hi, welcome on board. Today I'm going to talk to you about this game, Patchwork. This is our review, not our tutorial. Here we'll talk about the game, show you its contents, explain the objective and game mechanics, and help you decide on your purchase. In the video description you'll find the links to the tutorials, the review, gameplays, hacks, and subscription. Which, by the way, if you've already subscribed, don't forget to click the bell. That way you won't miss any of our future videos. Patchwork is a competitive 2-player game for ages 8 and up, where you're going to make a quilt using these Tetris-like shaped patches. It lasts around 30 minutes, although it does depend on how much analysis paralysis each player has, because at times deciding what patch to take can be tricky. The game retails for about $22 US. It's a game by Uwe Rosenberg, the famous German game designer whose first great hit was Bonanza in 1997. Since then, he's created some fantastic Euro games like Le Havre, Agricola, Caverna, A Feast for Odin. Using the same game mechanics found in Patchwork, he's created his last game, Cottage Garden. And there's a bit of patchwork also in A Feast for Odin. The illustrations are mainly geometrical patterns, and they were done by the Austrian Clemens Franz, whose unique style is also found in Agricola, Le Havre, Caverna, Orleans, Sky, and many other games. This is the Spanish 2015 edition by the publisher Maldito Games, and it's exactly like Mayfair's. The game is in no way language dependent. Let's see its contents.
The box is the same size as Fight for Olympus and Trambom. The cover shows this quilt, and here we have the logo of the Spanish publisher Maldito Games. It leaves no doubt that it's a 2-player game. On the sides we have the same image repeated, and on the back it describes briefly what the game is about in 3 images. When we open it, we find the rule booklet, in this case in Spanish. It's very easy to follow, and it has illustrations to show you how to prepare the initial setup. It shows the options in each turn, and here are the special tiles. It finishes with an example of the scoring. Under the booklet are the patches, buttons, and small leather patches. These came in punch-out cardboards. There is a total of 33 patches in different geometrical forms, although there are some that are repeated. These are the patches that you'll stitch to your quilt board, and they can be used on either side. They have beautiful designs, are mostly in pastel colors. Here are the buttons: 32 worth 1 point, 12 worth 5, 5 worth 10, and 1 worth 20. These are the leather patches. There's 5, and there's 2 wooden time tokens, 1 for each player. A big wooden pawn, a quilt board for each player to use, and this beautiful central time scoring board that can be used on either side. The game objective is to finish the game with more buttons than your opponent, buttons that you'll earn and spend throughout the game. During your turn you can do one of these 2 actions, buying and stitching a patch, or resting. If you buy a patch, you can choose among the 3 available at that moment, but buying patches costs money, or better said, buttons, and time, which will make your time token advance on the central board. If instead of buying you choose to take a quick nap and rest for a while, you will advance your time token and receive a button for every space moved. But fortunately, this isn't the only way to get buttons. Every time you pass by a button checkpoint on the central board, you'll receive as many buttons as those sewn to your quilt board. There are patches with 3, 2, 1, and no buttons. So, every time you get the chance, buy patches and fit them well on your board, because at the end of the game, any empty spaces you leave will subtract 2 buttons from your final score.
The game is awesome. It's relatively quick, it gets your brain going, and the layout is beautiful. For being an abstract game, the theme fits quite well, although some components completely stand out in a bad way. We've solved that by replacing them with more fitting material, which we'll talk about on our separate video on hacks. Patchwork is easy to learn. The first games you'll probably just do your own thing, find the patches you need, but as you get better, you'll start looking into what your opponent is doing. You'll try to buy the pieces they need or that fit perfectly in the room they have on their board, and you'll start thinking ahead of time of when to rest, so you're the first to get to the piece you need. This is one of those games where playing 3 games in a row will make you feel like you just walked out of an exam, so it really does absorb you. I think the age range is correct. I guess you could play with younger kids, but if you do, just let them move the patches around whenever necessary, so they make room for new ones. Something I don't really like about the game is that for being quite small or coming in a small box, it needs a lot of room. Because of the oval you have to create with the patches, it can get a little uncomfortable on a medium-sized table. Now, you can play the game over and over and over again. The replayability is really high. The patch order is selected randomly, so each game is different. This could even affect the scores at the end of the game. Filling the quilt board completely is incredibly difficult. On the contrary, scoring in the negatives is quite frequent. If you like abstract games where you have to rearrange pieces to make them fit in a certain space, like Ubongo. If you enjoy games of logic and spatial intelligence, like the ones by Think Fun and Smart Games that we have reviewed in our mind-puzzling solitaire section, then you should definitely get this game. And that was our review. If you want more details on how to play the game, here are our tutorials. The detailed one is for the owner of the game, and it explains all the rules and how to set it up from scratch. The express tutorial is for these to use to teach new players how to play. Remember that you can skip the intro by clicking on the time labels. And if you can't see any of the boxes on the screen, in the video description you'll find the links to these videos and any other ones that we publish in the near future. Videos of gameplays, hacks, ambient music. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, give us a thumbs up and help us out by sharing it with your friends. If it helped you learn how to play, tag us on any photos you upload or let us know in the comments below. Lastly, if you want to be the first to find out about our new uploads, subscribe to the channel and click that bell. Games on board. We do the reading, you do the playing.